When you're climbing a mountain and you're at a high altitude, it really doesn't matter what physical shape you're in. It's really a question of genetics.
Yeah.
We joke that, Josh trained a ton, Jason trained a ton, and then John didn't train as much. Whenever we went to a high altitude, John was just like, this is fine. And we were all like,
Literally.
Human beings simply aren't built to function at the cruising altitude of a 747. Our bodies will be literally dying. Everest is another beast altogether.
It's gonna take all we got.
We're all getting down together, now let's go!
If anyone can make it, you can.
We all trained. I mean, we all put ourselves out there because the way Bolt sets it up is that you're going to be in some precarious situations. You don't want to get hurt, you know? You want to be able to protect yourself, and you want to be used to that. And then you get up there, and there's a whole biological thing, like what Jake said. You know, we went up to the memorial. We were supposed to hike up to base camp, too, and
well,
then it just
I
didn't.
always wanted to go as high as possible.
Right.
I mean, that was just, and like in any, you try to push the envelope, because if you don't, you will stand and shoot the whole movie in Kathmandu, you know? I managed to convince, and it was a lot of convincing, by the way, to go up to the memorial, because I had scouted the memorial, and I was just blown away by its beauty. You're up at 15,000, 16,000 feet there, and we have an evacuation plan, because people actually can die up there. If you get stuck there, and I could see how the crew started falling apart, starting evacuating people, and you're still, I still need, another frame, and the cameraman is getting, cross-eyed, and it's getting out of focus, and it's just, the whole scene is just, it's falling apart. We managed to get the scene, and then we had planned to shoot another scene, and that is probably the worst piece of shit I've ever shot in my whole life,
I just remembered that.
I couldn't, the framings, everything was off. The actors were terrible, And I was just, and we realized afterwards that they were altitude sickness. They were just sick. People were sick.
That's true.
We were drilling headache, people lost their focus, and you can't do anything. I ended up cutting that out of the movie because it was just unusable. And you realize when you're sitting in the editor room, wow, we must have been really fucked at that point.
There was an altitude simulation. We were all learning about hypothermia, hypoxia, those types of things, just to figure out how it felt. We would be brought in, in groups of 4 or 5 into this chamber as it was raised, 5,000 by 5,000 feet. So it was 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. And as we started getting higher, Josh and I just decided we'd stay in while the other groups left. And
we ended up spending the night in the chamber.
But we were doing exercises and we were trying to do simple arithmetic, and I can't actually do simple arithmetic even at sea level, so I was like, I'm fine. We got out, we were laughing too. I remember all I remember is like a weird POV of me pointing at you, ha, and laughing, and you laughing at me. And then 15 minutes later, we were depressed.
We really were.
Yeah, we really were. We were sitting on the bus going back, like, are you okay? Like I don't know, are you okay?
And that lasted like 12 hours at least.
Like longer for me.
Longer, yeah.
Like 4 or 5 years. It started before, never mind, I don't think it was the chamber. But anyway, it was definitely.
No, but it was really, like, without that experience, I don't think, even though we shot that shitty scene, that when we went to the memorial.
He's really hurt,
No, I am. It was a shitty scene. I agree. I actually agree. Because I remember when it was happening, and then Bolt said to me a couple of days later, he goes, that scene sucks. Like, it's bad. And I was like, I know. Like, I was so high during that scene, which I was. It was actually, When we were at the memorial, seeing everybody eventually go prostrate. I mean, everybody was lying down by the time we started taking helicopters out of there. So it's wild what it can do to you biologically.